Acting President Yemi Osinbajo says the Buhari-led administration is targeting a broader restructuring of the power sector to ease access to electricity in the country. Osinbajo, who stated this at the Nigerian Renewable Energy Roundtable at the Aso Presidential Villa Abuja, maintained that government is committed to powering additional 20,000 homes from renewable energy.
We're doing 20,000 more homes in this first phase of the exercise and the pay-as-you-go system to 20,000 households to provide access to lighting and electric power for small devices. The plan is to expand the solar home system program to 1 million households, creating, of course, a few more million jobs as we go along. And the federal government also, through the Rural Electrification Agency, is developing an energy database that will show community locations and energy demand profiles, which in turn saves solar home systems and solar mini-grid providers time and money because we've already identified the communities beforehand. We're also championing the use of mobile payment systems for our solar home systems, and which by itself is an interesting line of business. We're convinced, of course, that renewable energy probably offers us the most sustainable means of increasing energy access to those who have no electricity and have no immediate hope of being connected to the national grid. Consequently, by a series of policy initiatives, including our Vision 30-30-30, the generation of 30 gigawatts of electricity by 2030, 30% of which is to be renewable energy. Also, the Sustainable Energy for All Action Agenda and the National Renewable Energy Action Plan, we seek to encourage and incentivize private sector investments in on-grid and off-grid renewable energy solutions.
Minister of Science and Technology Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, while giving his remarks, said the ministry will be strategically positioned to deliver on the Vision 30-30-30 of this administration.
July 2016, the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari adopted an electricity vision of 30-30-30, which is to generate 30 gigawatts of electricity by 2030, with 30% of it from renewable energy. As the ministry responsible for ensuring that the government's agenda of developing the nation's renewable energy technological capabilities, the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology is committed to playing its part to ensure that this target is met.
In their separate remarks, Chairman Senate Committee on Science and Technology, Senator Ajayi Borofis, and his counterpart in the House of Representatives, Honorable Benny La, said Nigeria is due for other sources of energy as the conventional ones are fast depleting.
The world population is increasing, and so the demand for energy and water will equally increase. And simultaneously, the demand for renewable energy becomes inevitable. It will be inevitable because there is a significant depletion of non-renewable energy resource globally.
Renewable energy in Nigeria is still at its nascent state and unexploited, as many efforts and all efforts are directed towards fossil fuel and biomass as our primary sources of energy. Investing in renewable energy is a project that will not only stimulate the economy, but also promote the nation's health, as it is environmentally friendly. It is now time that Nigeria should wake up from her slumber and take advantage of our natural endowment. The country is abundantly blessed in the area of energy resources such as sunlight, wind, rain, tides, and geothermal heat, among others, which are raw materials for renewable energy. Today's event reveals that we have taken the right step in the right direction, with a vision and desire to develop our renewable energy sector. For this vision to materialize, however, all hands must be on deck. There must be a synergy between the federal government, that is the executive, the legislature, and the private sector. This synergy is what gives rise to today's roundtable meeting.
The conference is in continuation of efforts geared towards achieving the Electricity Vision 30-30-30 with the aim of generating 30 gigawatts of electricity by the year 2030 with 30% from renewable energy. Achieving this target, accordingly, requires substantial investment in renewable energy, hydro, wind, solar, amongst others. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroga Nefifen for Ben Television.
Following the discharge of Senate President Bukola Saraki by a Code of Conduct Tribunal, cross-section of senators have continued to react to the issue. Senator Magnus Abi from Rivers State said people should not add sentiment to the decision of the Code of Conduct Tribunal.
When the CCT arrested the Senate President, put him on trial and all that, some people were happy with that, some people were angry with that. So if the same CCT turns around, looks at the charges and say, well, there's no merit in the charges and dismisses, some people will be happy, some people will be angry. But all we have to understand is that the constitutional power to deal with that matter is in the CCT, and that is what they have decided. So if you're a Nigerian and you understand that we all live by the constitution and the laws, this is what our laws have produced. So you can't produce an outcome different from what the laws have produced. And you see, people always have their own understanding of what they expect.
He also said the conclusion of the case against Senate President at CCT was a victory for democracy in Nigeria.
As far as the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is concerned, this is the situation, that is the position. And so that is what we live with. So there will be those who will be happy with it, there will be those who will be angry about it. But to me, the real victory goes to Nigeria, because he is the president of the Senate, he has been subjected to the laws of the land, and that he's president of the Senate does not mean that he must be convicted. Just like you and I, he appears in court, he takes his chances 50-50 like every other citizen. So if the thing works for him, I don't see why anybody should be upset. If it works against him, when it was working against him, I don't see why people were also upset. Like I said, the point the president has made is that the laws of this country will apply to everybody.
In his views, Senator Mao Onwabua from Abia State said the trial of Senate President at the CCT showed that no one is above the law in Nigeria.
If there is an infringement or an accusation, the only organ that can set you free is the judiciary, is their responsibility. What people thought earlier was that the Senate President, by his position, he will not come down from his high horse to subject himself to the rigors of the judiciary or of the court. But he did that. He was there effectively every day and faithfully. You see him right there in the dock. He was there all through. So, and if the judiciary had ruled for us, we believe is victory for judiciary and independence of democracy.
Senator Mao also expressed concern about the trial, saying it was a witch hunt.
Irrespective of whatever you paint, we believe that there is an element of witch hunt, because these were offenses he committed while he was governor. This guy was governor several years ago, left the office after 8 years, was away, and he didn't bring up or trump up these charges until the fight as regards the leadership of the Senate President. So definitely there must be, whether rightly or wrongly, we perceive that there was something, there was an issue, there was something wrong somewhere. But all the same, you cannot stop the law from taking its course. And he went through the rigors, and the court unanimously discharged him and said, look, these guys couldn't prove their case.
Former governor of Sokoto State, who is now a senator, Aliu Womako said the trial showed there's equality before the law.
There should be equality before the law. Whoever commits an offense, it must be called an offense, whether big or small, whether high or low, no matter what your tribe or your religion is, no matter what your status is, but you an offense. So I am happy that today has marked the end of all this almost 2 years or 1.5 years.
Senator Womako also called on anti-corruption agencies to carry out their due diligence before embarking on prosecution.
Agencies that are fighting corruption, they are doing very well, but they need to also respect the laws that are put in place. For example, if you go to ICPC Act, Section 27, or some of that, it has prescribed a 10-year jail term for anybody who gave a false information against somebody. But nobody has ever been treated for that. Why? Separation must be somewhere in the EFCC Act. We cannot just allow people to just go and destroying other people just for political excuses, just for their own selfish interests. Whoever goes wrong must be tried. I agree with that. It's true. But then people must also be protected from unnecessary and evil, selfish people who just out of sheer mischief will want to destroy, bring other people down.
Meanwhile, the federal government has said that it will appeal the Code of Conduct Tribunal decision to discharge Senate President Bukola Saraki. From Abuja, Muyo Bamdele reporting.
Lovely place, right?
Yes.
What's wrong? You don't look happy.
Take a look around. Why can't my hotel be like this?
I knew something was wrong, but I've got solution.
Solution? What?
Nanette.
Nanette?
Nanette offers you design solutions, building plans and construction, furnishing and equipping, financing, management, audit services, and many more services for a better hospitality business. Nanette, service with a smile.
The Nigerian Immigration Service has commenced online visa service delivery system for foreign investors intending to visit and do business in Nigeria. Minister of Interior Abdulrahman Dambaza, while briefing newsmen in Abuja immediately after the presentation of a handbook on the operationalization of the Presidential Executive Order in the Immigration Service, said the new order will enhance the ease of doing business in Nigeria without delay as experienced in the past.
For in terms of foreigners who want to come in here to do business, there is a provision of visa on arrival, and it is possible that an individual hops into the aircraft from wherever he's coming and come to any of our borders and receive visa on arrival. That will question and quicken, his business steps, and also facilitate some of the things he needs to do within the shortest possible time. Of course, while we're doing that, we are also very much conscious of security. So we do all the necessary checks. And of course, too, we process the issue of advanced passenger information. So even before somebody arrives here, coming into Nigeria, we know who he is, where he's going to, and we know his antecedents. So these are some of the arrangements, but the important thing is that when somebody is coming here for genuine business, he comes here without any waste of time. At the arrival port, he's provided visa for the period he's going to stay here for his business. And of course, the duration is there, depending on what he wants to do, how long he's going to stay.
Controller General of Immigration Mohammed Babandede said any foreign investor who wish to do business in the country can now get visa on arrival.
Right from the country he's residing or he's a citizen, by establishing a good visa system. This is what we are doing. You can control them at the point of entry. If you can't get them at the point of entry, you control them after entry. We are soon going to introduce a registration system where all non-Nigerians must register at their local government of residence. So for us, it is control at all levels. Before entry in the embassies, at entry in the ports of entry, and after entry to wherever you are in Nigeria. I assure you, if with the control, we can ease the way of doing business. You can see one of the strategies we have implemented today is that we are allowing transit visa in the airports. In the olden days, Nigeria doesn't give transit visa at the airport, which is not good. We even introduced a new model that if it is a Nigerian carrier, you can come without a transit visa, encouraging local content. So if the Nigerian carrier will carry somebody from South Africa and will want to continue to Ghana, that person can land in Nigeria and will not require transit visa because he's using Nigerian carrier. If you're using other airlines, you come around, we'll give you transit visa on arrival. This was not happening before, but this is the easy way of doing business, also encourage local content.
In a latest development, federal government is to deploy more personnel, border patrol vehicles, and technological gadgets to boost security at the nation's porous border in line with international best practices. Minister of Interior Abdulrahman Dambazao at the combined personal parade of 456 Border Patrol Corps at the Immigration Training School in Kano said the newly graduated Border Patrol Corps officers and drivers from the training school would be immediately deployed to strategic border posts to beef up security in the country.
Whatever they learn here, they should make sure that they use them to enhance their professionalism. They must remain disciplined as the service demands, because as a uniform service without discipline, you will not be able to achieve your objectives. So that is my advice. Take seriously all the lessons they have learned here.
You can see they have been trained to participate in any emergency. They will be first based in Abuja. We'll gradually develop the system to state commands. They will be available 24/7. On Monday, the minister will launch a call center, which will be available 24/7 also. So in case there is emergency anywhere in the country or within Abuja, this team can be evacuated to participate because they will be available 24/7. The idea is to support other agencies, to support ourselves, and to contribute to national security architecture.
Immigration Board noted that the service is committed to putting a total stop to the movement of illegal immigrants into the country. In Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
The Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has awarded grants to 80 Nigerian investors as part of the federal government's Economic Empowerment Initiative, otherwise known as Growth and Empowerment Project, GEM. GEM Project is an initiative of the federal government, World Bank, and DFID to increase firms and businesses' growth and employment creation in Nigeria. Recall that in April 2017, the sum of 756.3 million naira was disbursed to 81 qualified young entrepreneurs with business models. Trade and Investment Minister Okechukwu Enelama, during the grant award ceremony in Abuja, said the innovators were selected following the Technological Innovation Competition organized by the presidency called Aso Villa Demo Day, AVDD. The minister was optimistic that the grants to the investors will help drive an inclusive growth.
In line with the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, we also believe that these highly competitive grants that you're getting will empower you Nigerians and help drive inclusive economic growth. When we talk about inclusive economic growth, we're already talking about growth that spreads out. And frankly, there's no better place to spread it than to our SMEs. All the firms here today submitted their plans and went through a process as you've heard. And I'm glad that that process, even when it was silent, that you now recognize that work was going on. Silence doesn't mean you've been ignored. It means that the computer, the team, everybody's working for you. And I hope that somehow as you share your story, others who are in line will be encouraged, because there are other people who are clearly also waiting to hear back. Frankly, if we do this well, there is more where this is coming from, and therefore more Nigerians can benefit from it. And I hope we will do it well. Because obviously there's still a long way to go. There's still a long way to go, even in terms of the program with you, the avenues of engagement, the channels of engagement, both in terms of capacity building, in terms of funding. There's just so much, and so I want to encourage you to do, and I want to challenge you not to be short-sighted or limited in your thoughts about this. Look at it like a relationship you're building, like something you want to grow. Let the testimonials, let the testimonies come back, let the feedback come back that we're living with reliable people. Because one of the mistakes we make at times, either as individuals or even, I might say, as a country, is when we sort of go for the short-term opportunity or the short-term advantage and lose the long-term perspective. In other words, there's a way you build a relationship and people will speak well of you. There's a way you go about something and people want to help you further. So there's no point burning the bridges. Not just for yourself, but you also want to do it in a way that will create opportunities for other people after you.
World Bank Country Director in Nigeria, Rachid Ben Mesud, represented by Andrew Gatside, a senior private sector development advisor in World Bank, said private sector is key to creating jobs, even as he said GEM project aligns with economic recovery growth plan of the federal government.
It's been a long journey to get to this point, as some of the businesses have pointed out, but it was really important to take the time to make sure that all those mechanisms were in place so that when we got to this point, we were ready to seamlessly, flawlessly start rolling out this support to thousands of businesses across Nigeria. We know that Nigeria needs to create millions of jobs and diversify its economy. It's well recognised by the government and the World Bank, and this the GEM project closely aligns with the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. To do this, the private sector is absolutely key to this. It's the private sector and businesses like yours that are going to create these jobs. And it's for this reason that we're so interested in helping you, the businesses and the entrepreneurs, to grow and create those jobs.
Osam Raffle, Ben Television.